Iran is living up to its moniker of the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism as the Houthis, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, Hamas kill Westerners, especially Israeli Jews. And now the word is out that they've got enough uranium for at least half a dozen bombs. And what are we doing? When I say bombs, I mean nuclear weapons. We are doing nothing about it. I'm very concerned, as I know you are, Claire, about Iran's nuclear program. And it seems, in my mind, to be linked to all of the terrorism support that's going on right now in the Middle East. The Iranian proxy armies, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, Hamas, the Houthis, are all being supplied, and the world knows it. The UN knows it. The United States knows it. Israel's been saying it for years. Nothing's being done about it. You know, there's some sanctions in place in some cases, and Biden takes them off. And so Iran looks at that and goes, paper tiger, if they're not going to stop us from blowing up ships that are carrying oil or blowing up the undersea cables that connect the world's internet and communication systems, then they're not going to stop us from making nuclear weapons. And so the IAEA, agency of the United Nations that's supposed to be enforcing the prohibition and restrictions on enhancement of uranium that can be weaponized, has basically given up. They don't do inspections. They're not allowed to come in. They're banned from the sites where the big enrichment is going. And at this point, the United Nations Security Council does nothing. And estimates coming out of Israel saying now that I'm hearing they have enough weaponized uranium for half a dozen nuclear weapons. The delivery systems are, well, maybe an ICBM, maybe in a suitcase, who knows? But the fact of the matter is, Iran is becoming an enormous problem entirely caused by no opposition from Joe Biden.
That's a big part of it. Absolutely, Barry. But I do want to put in a good word for the IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, which is the United Nations watchdog organization for nuclear programs around the world. And what prompted some of the commentary that we're seeing these days, last few days, about the Iranian nuclear weapons program is the appearance of Secretary General Rafael Grossi, who is the head of the IAEA. He was at a conference a day or two ago where he again raised the alarm about where the Iranian regime is with its nuclear weapons program. And this goes back to last November of 2023. Now, the IAEA Governors Board puts out a quarterly report about Iran's nuclear weapons program. The last one came out in November of last year. And just looking quickly at notes here, raised the alarm that got a lot of people's attention, that at that time, or in the weeks leading up to the report coming out, the amount of Iranian stocks of enriched uranium, they reported that they had enough for 6 nuclear weapons in 1 month, 8 in 2 months, 10 in 3 months, and on we go. The next quarterly report is due out in early March. So they're meeting next week. The report will come out, sometime a little bit after that. But here's the other thing about the IAEA. It's a monitoring agency. It depends on, to a good extent, the goodwill, the cooperation at least, of the countries involved. And when Iran bans IAEA inspectors from visiting sites in Iran that are suspect as military development sites, they can't go there. And they don't have themselves any enforcement mechanism. The enforcement mechanism, if you will, is to take the issue to the United Nations, Security Council, where Iran has a couple of sponsors, Russia and China, which have veto power just like the United States does. So there's not much that is being done about the extent to which the Iranians have advanced their nuclear weapons program. And everyone now, I think, has eyes on Israel.
It's going to have to, it being Israel, is going to have to do something because as you said, the UNSC, the United Nations Security Council, is not going to take any action. And as you and I both pointed out, 6 bombs now that we estimate, it could be a dozen or more. And if there was a event like on October 7th, but with nuclear weapons around the world will never, ever, ever be the same.
And thinking about that Iranian regime, I think we've talked about this before, but their ideological, eschatological framework of reference is Shiite Twelver Muslims, the Islamic Republic of Iran, which holds that in order to bring back their messianic figure, the Mahdi, to usher in the end times, the day of judgment, they think they can accelerate that and make that happen sooner than it otherwise might have by launching as much chaos and strife and warfare on earth as they possibly can. Now, this is the regime that is weeks away from, 6 bombs, 8 bombs? Nuclear weapons.
And that was months ago, and which is why when I quoted 6 bombs now, that's the Israeli. They're there now.
Probably we expect so. Yeah.
But
Israel, by the way, would have, of course, under international law, every right to anticipatory self-defense. And that's what may have to happen.
And they're training for it right now, I assure you.